We can only hope it will record.
Let's hope so, Robert. Where are you calling from?
Actually, my name is Zoran. It's Zoran. Zoran.
You're the first Zoran I've ever spoken to, Zoran.
Is that right? Have you? Oh, that's nice. Very nice.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Sacramento, California.
Oh, okay, Zoran.
And I don't recognize the area code. Where am I calling you?
Vegas.
Oh, Vegas. Oh, very nice. And is that where? I guess that's where you live now.
I got a place here.
Oh, great. I know quite a few people have moved to Las Vegas.
Well, I still spend a lot of time in LA. It just got a little crowded for me, to be honest. A lot of people there don't really need to be there. But we didn't talk about my feelings.
Not called talk about Los Angeles. Absolutely.
It's just a shame, you know. Every time I go back there, it just seems like a little bit of the history has been chipped away. Like, you know, the House of Blues used to be on Sunset. They're building this monstrous tower, and I don't know, upsets me a bit, and I don't know. So the same thing happens everywhere. I guess that's just one of the things about getting old. You know, you can't have it. It can't be the way it was when you were in your 20s forever, and just have to accept it. But you know, at one time they were talking about demolishing the Hollywood sign and putting condos up there, for fuck's sake.
No, no, I'm a little older now, and progress is what they call it. That's
yes,
what we
they do.
That's what we called it when we were younger.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember I see a documentary about Haight Street in San Francisco. You know, the hippie mecca, Haight and Ashbury, and you know, those young people came in and invaded that neighborhood because it wasn't hippies. It was before then. So there's always a new invasion.
Yeah, that's
something.
Right. Hey, this is Phil Lewis from LA Guns, and I'm blowing it up on Capital Chaos TV. Turn it up.
Now, I grew up in England, and I was exposed to rock music through television. Was it the same for you?
Top of the Pops, yeah. Old Grey Whistle Test. Is that what you're talking about?
I think so, yeah. Especially Top of the Pops. So.
Yeah. I had the honor of being on it once, and it was a real thrill. It was back in the girl days. I think it must have been around 1980. And we went in, and it was Blondie was number one with Call Me at the time, and it was a fun scene backstage. Thin Lizzy were there; they were on it, and Johnny Rotten was there. I don't know what he was doing there. I don't think the Sex Pistols were on the show that night, but he was just running around backstage, you know, like with this like cheap crappy camera, taking pictures of and with everyone. And it was a lot of fun. It was a really, really good day. And we had the, not that we didn't know anything at the time, but we had that infamous scumbag Jimmy Savile was the compere the night we played. And well, that's another story, isn't it?
And Jimmy Savile is now he's known for bad behavior. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, he was a weird guy. He was very strange. I mean, it was nice enough, you know. He came and said hi and everything, but. Wow.
We live in a time now where people are now being called out and punished for their bad behavior. Mm-hmm. You think it's fitting, I think.
Well, it's good. I mean, you know, if a bad behavior, you know, should be checked, and this recent stolen scholarships and people buying their way into universities, exclusive universities. It's absolutely shameful because, you know, you or I, if we had good grades and we wanted to get into one of these schools and we wanted to apply to any of these prestigious universities, there's a payment. You have to pay to enroll, and you don't get that back, and it just fucking sucks for struggling people, smart, intelligent people that don't stand a fucking chance because the 1% have just put down 50 to 500 grand to get their semi-illiterate daughter into Yale. And but you know what? Let's not talk about this. Let's talk about the fucking record.
Now, let's do that. Talk a little bit about making the new record, "The Devil You Know," and the vision you had going into it.
There was no real vision. We just we were so inspired by the momentum from the first record. From when I say the first record, I mean from the former record, "The Missing Piece." That we were kind of on a roll, and it wasn't songs that were left lying around that we didn't put on "The Missing Piece." It was stuff all written from scratch, and actually even being written while we were touring as well, which is really strange. A lot of bands, can't do that. They have to come off the road and get in the right headspace and focus on writing and recording. We didn't do that. We went like flat out and we were writing on the road and coming up with ideas. And that was the brief. I think we wanted to do a grittier record. "The Missing Piece" was gorgeous. It's got like layers of strings and it's lyrically ethereal and it's a warm, fuzzy record for the most part. We wanted to make a biting balls to the wall, and I say punk, but not like fucking 3-chord punk. I mean punk attitude with some very, very tasty chops.
I was going to say that your most recent addition to the group, Ace, it comes from a bit of a punk rock background, and punk rock is not that far removed from what LA Guns does.
No, not at all. And Tracy is a huge punk rock fan. He like Misfits and Black Flag and all that. He grew up on that, in that whole LA punk scene. Me too, I suppose. I mean, I was around in the real punk scene, like 76 and in Kings Road, Malcolm McLaren and Adam Ant, and when the whole thing exploded. It freaked me out a little bit. But it was a very exciting time. But yeah, it definitely, it has to have a bite to it. We just, you want a love song, go listen to Journey.
Absolutely. Now, I really like Going High, the title track, and Another Season in Hell. Do you have any current favorites on the record, or are you done with it?
No, we just did a video for the title track, The Devil, on Saturday, and that was a lot of fun. We've been playing that for a while. We've been off the road now for a few months since New Year's. But a couple of months up until that point, we had added The Devil into the set, and it had been gone down very well. So now we've got. It's a very difficult decision which ones we're going to play, which other ones we're going to put in the set, because you can't do them all, unfortunately. It's like a litter of puppies. You can't keep them all. Unless, some bands, they go out and do the entire album. We don't have that luxury. People want their sex action, damn it. So it's a difficult decision, but we've decided on Rage, which is just absolutely balls to the wall. That was the last song that we recorded, last song I recorded. So that's real fresh in my head. And the other one, Stay Away, which is just got it's like a freight train. These songs are going to sound so good live. I can't wait. And
once again, this is the second album back to back, recent, with Tracy. Is there a new flow? Is the writing and recording process changed in this new incarnation, or is it sort of back to how it was?
Oh, it's very different. I mean, it's exactly the same format as we did The Missing Piece, but it's very different from the old days, where all the band would all get together in the studio and sit around, and you'd put the drums down first, and then the bass and the guitar. And all right, Phil, you're up, get in. No, it's recorded in increments. The drums and the basic tracks are recorded first, and then Tracy will spend a week or so in the studio doing overdubs and Johnny, and meanwhile I'll fly to New York and work with Mitch Davis, who, if you look at the credits, he's a vocal producer. He's also a co-writer, and we work on lyrics and we work on vocals, and we work real hard. You know, it's very intense. It's just me and Mitch, and there's no band around, which might be a bit of a distraction, to be honest with you. You know, it's pretty boring. Watching vocals is not really a spectator sport. So yeah, then I'll fly to. I'm done in New York, and you know we'll wire it back to Tracy, and if he likes it and it all fits, then that's it, and that's how we do it. Very different from the old days, and you know, I don't miss spending $300 to $600 an hour in a recording studio. I don't miss that. I mean, it was very opulent, and it was all part of the 80s vibe. But you know, we made this record for essentially what we spent on catering for Hollywood Vampires.
I was going to ask you, was there a time looking back where the cost of making a record was just stupid, massive amounts of money just wasted?
Oh, just before the bubble burst, there was a sickening amount of money being wasted. But in the whole music scene, especially in LA, overpriced studios, overpriced producers, overpriced rental gear. I mean, it was just, it really was. It was a bubble, and there were so many bands and so much competition. If you don't like it, fuck off. It was obscene, actually, and when the bubble did burst, and Kurt Cobain came along with Nirvana and changed the whole vibe of it. It was a bit sad, but it was also a bit of a relief as well, to be honest.
Now, I recently spent about 10 hours in the recording studio with my band. I couldn't wait to get out. How do you like recording?
I love it with Mitch. I love going to New York and just me and him getting down to the nitty gritty, and what we do is we'll go and we'll probably try and hit 4 songs a day, and I'll run through them 5 or 6 times, and then we'll patch it together, pick out the best bits, and I like that. But 10 hours, but that's a day. I'll be in there from noon to 10. And I'll do that for like 3 or 4 days in a row, because, I don't live in New York, and it's not like I can just pop in the studio. So I have to be on really tip-top form when I'm over there. My voice has got to be good, and, I've got to be thinking straight. And I've got to say, it's daunting. It's slightly terrifying to be, given the finished record and going, okay, no pressure, just do all the vocals now. So I like it. I really, really do. I come out of those sessions, my head's throbbing, my voice is, my throat's scratchy, my head's spinning. But it's a great feeling, when I nail it, and so far we've nailed every one. It's a great feeling.
For a time there were 2 Rats, and there are still 2 LA Guns. How excited were you to get back to working with Tracy once the divisions were healed? Yeah, let's just be clear now. There aren't 2 Rats. There have been 2 Rats. There have been 2 LA Guns. There is no Rat right now, unfortunately. The whole thing's a mess. It's a shame. And as far as LA Guns go, yeah, I mean, it was an embarrassing time, me and Tracy being out on the road with our own versions. That was disingenuous to the fans. It was really long overdue that we both
pulled our socks up and got back together and at least gave it a shot, give it a go. You know, we owe that to the fans. We owe that to our legacy. And I'm really, really glad that we did. And it was the music that inspired it. It was me listening to his ideas, just like it was when we started in 87. And being inspired by it and wanting to like create and get in the trenches and do something with this guy, because he brings out a side of me that no other collaborator, you know, he makes me work harder than any other band mate I've ever been in, and I like that. And you know, now we've been together a few years, and you know, we can't help thinking, well, maybe we needed that time apart, and we both needed to grow up, and we're better people now. But I think it definitely shows in the music. You know, it wasn't a money grab, obviously. We've proved that now. Putting 2 records out, we didn't have to put 1 record out. We could have put a single. We could have put a greatest hits thing together. You know, like most of these like A-level bands, that's what they do. No, fuck that. First thing we did is went into the studio and proved that we're not fucking around. You know, we're not in it for the money.
You could have just done an album tour.
Oh yeah, and we could, greatest hits tour. I mean, yeah, it would have been so simple. And you know, it's always a tricky thing to play new stuff. You know. People, as I said, people want their sex action. They're never enough. The Ballad of Jane. And, you know, quite often there's a mass exodus to the bar when a band announces, well, here, we're going to do a new one for you. People don't like that.
Right.
But our punters do, you know, and because they like it, because we like
it. The bonus track, Boom, has a bit of a Motorhead vibe to it, in my opinion. Has Motorhead had any sort of impact on you and LA Guns?
Maybe not musically so much. Tracy and Lemmy were tight. I knew Lemmy since I was 12 years old. He was a iconic figure back in West London when I was a teenager, and he went on to become a megastar, and I'm so proud of him and what he achieved. And you know, he was a good guy. He was you know, not a lot of people know, but he was a very generous, benevolent guy, and he gave a lot of his money to charity. But anyway, does it Motorhead influence us? Yeah, in a way it does. In a way he does. But you know, musically, it's a lot more. What we do is a lot more challenging than Motorhead songs, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Did you get a chance to see or hear AC/DC with Axl Rose?
No, fortunately, no, I didn't.
Are you a fan of AC/DC, and do you like both Brian and Bon?
I'm a big. I prefer Bon, to be honest with you. Bon had an earthier vibe to it. You know, honestly, Axl did a pretty good job on the AC/DC stuff. He hit the notes, absolutely, and that can't be denied. But he didn't have the grit of Brian Johnson. You know, quite often Brian can't hit the notes, but he's always got the grit, and that was, you know, because Axl's voice is so smooth, and you know, he did the songs good, but they were just a little bit on the smooth side for me. And we toured with AC/DC when we released on that Cocked and Loaded tour, and obviously it was Brian at that time because Bon had long gone. And it was the greatest tour, and the nicest bunch of guys, and they gave us everything we wanted. So yeah, big props to AC/DC.
What do you do for vocal fatigue? Do you have any treatments such as honey and lemon?
No, I do. It's all the vocal stuff is before you sing, not after. You can't do nothing after. It's done. You've done the damage. Only time Time and steroids are the only thing that are going to fix it. You've got to do your warm-ups. You've got to keep your trap shut after you've been singing. You can't hold court in the back of a bus. There are certain rules that you have to, especially as a touring musician, and no spring chicken either. I've got to take care of it. But I will say, because I've taken care of it and focused on it, I'm a way better singer than I was when I was 20.
How do you like the new economy of likes, follows, and streams?
I like that. I think it gives people a little bit of a self-entitlement, to be honest with you. As a fan, growing up as a music fan in the 70s and, watching Black Sabbath and Humble Pie in the Park, apart from fan clubs, there was no way that you could get to know about Ozzy or Steve Marriott or Robert Plant. These were mysterious figures, and the only time you heard anything about them or a glimpse of what they were like was in interviews in the music papers like Melody Maker and Sounds and New Musical Express. You get a glimpse of what your idol was like personally. Now you know what everyone's had for fucking breakfast. It's just changed so much, and I would have just to have even made eye fucking contact with Robert Plant back then would have been a thrill. Now you've got to take a fucking selfie. Now it's like if you're not if you don't spend 5 minutes talking to them and asking about their ailments, you're an asshole. Now I know I'm exaggerating a bit, but yeah, I mean it's completely changed. And the artist is much to blame as the punters. If fucking people want to post what they're having for breakfast, that's great. But what happened to the mystery?
I recently removed Facebook from my phone because it's addicting.
Yeah.
Have you had the same experience with social media as I have?
Yeah. No, I mean, I have to do the Facebook. We have to, let people know where we're playing and what's being released, and if we have a video and whatnot, that we want to post, because that's the TV. MTV is done. Internet killed MTV. Killed the television. So it's an important platform. And I can tolerate Facebook because a lot of people are doing that, and a lot of it's kind of like the MySpace, I guess, if you want. It's good for promoting something. Instagram, I can't look. It's just a shitstorm of narcissism. I mean, it's just these pictures, people posting of themselves, pursing their lips and putting little fucking bunny ears on their heads, and I can't do it. It really. I last about 10 or 15 seconds on it, and I got to quit. Tracy made me do an Instagram account. And it's good, like for posting stuff, band stuff, and but just getting on that news feed it blows my mind how narcissistic and shallow and vacuous a lot of society is.
Just a few more questions. I know you have to talk to other people. What would you say would be the top three artists, fellow peers, from your 80s scene where you came from? What would be the top three favorites for you?
Gary Holton, Alex Harvey, and probably Steve Marriott.
Who?
Steve Marriott.
Oh, okay. Correct.
And, all London, all obscure, or apart from, but yeah, all obscure, and a little bit more late 70s and 80s. But those are my idols.
And what is your favorite album cover of all time?
Ooh, the album cover. You know, only because I just spent a fucking fortune buying one. I'm a bit of a vinyl nut. I got back into collecting LPs, and I got a nice old turntable, and I've been looking for Sticky Fingers by the Stones. You know, the one with the zip on the front. Yeah,
absolutely.
I tracked one down, and you know, good ones, they go for as much as like $400 or $500. I got it for a lot less than that. I got a really, really good deal on it. So right now, that's my favorite album cover.
And finally, what album epitomizes your style of music over all others?
An album that I made or an album that I listened to?
That you've listened to.
Okay, check this out. Go listen to Japan, Adolescent Sex, and you'll hear exactly that. That's the root of that's what I sound like. That's what I listened to when I decided I was going to be a singer, and that's what I was singing along to when I started to take it seriously.
Well, thank you so much for your time. And
you're very welcome, Mr. Z. It's a pleasure talking to you. Nice questions.
And you have a wonderful day.
Cheers. Appreciate the support. Bye-bye.
Oh, my pleasure.